Nick Kotenberg. In this part of the series, we're going to be exploring dbmigrate and async, which are two npm packages, and we're going to be mostly exploring maybe more complex passing of data between the client and the server. I'll show you can pass a very, very, very large amount of data from the client and the server through the socket. It's pretty nice. Okay, so what is dbmigrate? dbmigrate is a migration tool that allows you to quickly create your database and manage kind of the migrations that it goes through. Like developers may add or remove columns, and as it goes, you can just run dbmigrate up, and it'll build the database dynamically for you. So, what does the dbmigrate file look like? Well, we'll create one. So actually, you need to install it first if you haven't installed it. dbmigrate-g, and then I like different people like different versions. I like 0.9 myself, but it's up to you. And then you can look at their website for details. And then dbmigrate. Once you've installed that, you can do dbmigrate create. We'll do a create a test one, and this is what a tester file looks like. The ones that I've created are a little more complex. We're including async, so we can run multiple functions in a row, and then call back afterwards. And we'll get into that in just a minute. So we'll do dbmigrate up. It's going to run these three migrations in order via the timestamp. We're not going to get too much into MySQL or how dbmigrate works because it's not really the focus of this series. But if you're interested in database structure and all that sort of stuff, I can create another series. Just message me in the comments and I'll get to it. Okay, so now we have a database. Let's pass the data down the pipe, right? So if you want to see what the database looks like, we'll just get in real quick. And password was pass 1 2 3 4 and use sc1 select star from users. Oops, there. So that's kind of what's in the database currently. Not a whole lot of data. There's some data types. There's a link between the users and the user types. We have admin, moderator, subscriber. Anyway, and we'll use this to actually build a login with Socket Cluster. Okay, so let's actually take a look at this data. So remember before, we had kind of just done some just basic kind of garbage data. We're going to actually select from the database and go from there. Okay, so what we've done is we've added our pool from MySQL here. So we need to install MySQL for the Express, or for, Node. So it's MySQL, save. Oop, keep doing that. Say the installs real quick, good. And then we need to go into the env because remember you don't want to push usernames and passwords up to Git. And I'm not going to go into Git, but I can make some videos on those too if you need those. Post in the comments and I'll get to it. Get to it. All right, and then sorry, that's bad. Then we need to say get the env in the worker like so. And now we have our environmental variables. We have get. We have a pool. We're passing the pool into our models controller right here. We're going to use that pool right here to get some data. So let's go ahead and start doing that. And we also want to use async as well. So let's npm install async, save, get that running. Okay. Var async. Now this is a little more complex, but you can also use locks and stuff because Node.js is non-blocking. So for example, if you run some function and then you return the value from that function, it'll return null because the function hasn't finished first. So you have to handle it that way. So anyway, so we'll do it. We'll show you what we do here. Okay, so we'll do async.series. We're going to do a series, which is just in a row. And we're going to pass in an array of functions and the callback. Oops, callback finish. There we go. And then we're going to call back here. We're going to say get all users is a variable. We'll say select star from users. Oops. Oh, darn. There. And then pool.query, which is how you call MySQL with a pool. We'll say get all users. We're not going to pass in any data, so we're just going to call it a function get the errors, the rows. And this is something that's not specific to Socket Cluster, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I want to show you how the interaction works between Socket Cluster and the client, this server and the client. So we'll say if error, we will console log that error, and also just make it a nice friendly way to tell what's going on. We'll say failed to get users. You can also, if you want to, do something like just to, know what, because when you get a lot of functions and you have a huge application, it's a little hard sometimes to tell where the error is happening. So then we'll say else, we'll do results dot users is equal to rows, and then we'll call callback. What that's going to do is it's going to start running up here, assign these variables, assign this function here. It's going to start running this function first. Once this function is done, you call callback, which starts, if there was another function, start another function, and keep running down each one in a row. So like, for example, you do, I'll spend a lot of time on this, but just to show you real quick, callback, like so, and you just keep going callback. Once all your functions inside the async are done running, then it runs the last function here. You can actually just define a function here, but I like to do it this way. It's up to you how you want to do it. We're going to emit back all the results. Now remember, we notified user index. If you remember last time, that was here. So now we can grab all the users. And so instead of passing that object we passed earlier, we're passing actual data from the database, and we're going to display it on the page. And we can actually make that a little more dynamic. So let's go into the templates, the users. So instead of just passing in, because you look at our database, we have a little more data. Oops, that's right. Pass 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Use sc1. So we'll do explain users. Oops. Explain users. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Explain users. So we have first name, last name, and email. So let's do first. And I'll fix the top in just a second. Users I dot last and td users I dot email. And then we'll go up here and we'll say first name, th last name, th email. We'll save that. We'll exit out of MySQL. Oops. Exit out of MySQL. We'll run node server. We'll grab from localhost 3000, which is, I believe, we're using 3000, 3001. We'll find out in a moment, I guess. I believe we use 3000. Okay, I forgot to add in the quick check for the middleware. So you just add middleware here, and then if there's a hash, you run the normal build, otherwise you run build dashboard. There's actually a better way to handle this, and the reason why I didn't add it in is because we haven't added the start, we've only done bind. So when we get back to that, I'll add that and fix this. This is not the best way to do it, but it'll fix the situation for now. Okay, so we'll go to users, and look, we have all our new users. Yay, from the database. Hooray. So that's kind of cool. Now, how do you handle logins? And that's what we're going to deal with next, with sessions. Anyway, I wanted to thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please like it and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.